Have you ever had someone who truly loves you with the best intentions tell you to just get a job? You know that feeling when they say, I hate seeing you struggle, or you could make so much more money in corporate. Today, we're diving into how to handle well meaning advice that could derail your entrepreneurial journey, and more importantly, how to stay true to your path while maintaining those important relationships. Let me share something personal. In the early years of my first business, I had so many people who genuinely loved and cared about me, suggesting that I should just get a job. They'd say things like, you could make so much more money, or you'd have so much more stability, or I hate to see you struggle when you don't have to. Maybe the worst, the one that stung the most, by now you for sure would have gotten a promotion. Here's what we as entrepreneurs have to understand. Not everyone is cut from the same fabric as us. The reason they so desperately want us to return to the corporate model is that's what they would do. They don't have that fire in their soul that says stay the course even when things get tough. They don't have that determination that makes us keep pushing, finding another way, keep dealing with the obstacles and moving forward. And it's hard, isn't it? Because you know they love you, and sometimes you feel even guilty, like you're letting them down, like you're disappointing them. Maybe you're even keeping them from achieving some other goal that they want in conjunction with you. When my first business failed, I was left with nothing, in a deep financial hole with a big decision to make. And I decided I had to give myself the opportunity. Most of you probably know I'm a triathlete and marathoner. When you cross that finish line, you want to know you gave it everything, that there's nothing left in the tank. And that's what being fully alive means to me. That's how I want to live my life. That's exactly how I wanted to approach my next chapter. I wasn't going to play it safe. I had to pour everything into becoming the best version of myself and building something new. It was more than giving myself another chance. I had to place a bet on myself. And to get myself going again, I knew I had to be incredibly protective of my mindset. The voices saying, just get a job, were getting louder, and I get it. That's what most people would do. That's what makes sense to them. But just like in marathon training, you can't afford to have people around you constantly questioning why you're getting up at 4 a.m. to run. Just sleep in, take it easy. It's Saturday. That's what they'll say. But easy isn't what you're after. In that transition is when I learned something crucial. The people who surround you will either lift you up or drag you down. When someone tells you to just get a job, they're not giving you business advice. They're telling you what they would do in your situation. Curating the people you spend the most time with is actually a way of curating the thoughts in your mind. It's a way of choosing the mindset you want to maintain. Let me share an analogy that illustrates why you shouldn't take business advice from people who have never built a business. Imagine you just decided to run your first marathon. You're going to New York, you're chasing the glory of those 26.2 miles. And a friend calls and says, I got the perfect training for you. I know exactly what you need to do. So you say, well, I didn't know you'd run a marathon. They tell you, no, I haven't. Actually, you're my first friend to ever run a marathon. I asked a neighbor kid who won a 5K last weekend, and he told me all sorts of tips. Oh, wow, you say. Well, what marathon did your neighbor kid run? Oh, no, 5K is his maximum, and he's really good at track. But I saw this reel on Instagram, too. You would have to be insane to follow marathon training advice given by someone who's never achieved what you're trying to achieve. They never learned how to do it. Yet we take business advice from people who have never built their own business. We take life advice from people who are miserable. The journey of building a business is your marathon. This is your long-term bet on yourself. You need to be selective about whose advice you take and whose voices you allow in your head. This doesn't mean we should completely disregard input from others. Even someone who's never run a marathon might notice you're limping, or they might point out that your shoes are all worn down. Similarly, people who care about us can sometimes see blind spots we've missed. I've taken a lot of criticism as an entrepreneur and turned it into reasons to change and to improve myself. I remember once when I missed a very important date, and a friend said, "You didn't even notice you missed it." That hit home. I realized I had been so involved in my work that I wasn't being the type of friend I wanted to be. I had to take stock. I had to become more conscious and make changes. Most of my friends from when I started my first business have very little in common with me nowadays. They've grown in their ways and I've grown in mine, and that's okay. Becoming an entrepreneur is placing a major bet on yourself. Some people would never place that bet. They can't even imagine taking the risk. It's not because they don't believe you can do it. It's because they don't believe that they would be able to do it. It's just that their path is different. Just like not everyone is meant to run marathons, not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Here's what I want you to remember. The only person who absolutely cannot give up on you is you. Not everyone understands what it means to bet on yourself, and that's okay. Be selective about whose advice you take, just like you wouldn't take marathon training advice from someone who's never run one. Stay open to feedback, but filter it through your goals, your values, and your vision. Remember that your path as an entrepreneur is like training for a marathon. It's not about finding shortcuts to the finish. It's about becoming someone capable of going the distance. Your entrepreneurial journey is uniquely yours. The story isn't over yet. You're still in training. You're still building endurance. You're still becoming. And while others might suggest the shortcuts or the more comfortable ways that seem obvious to them, you know that's not what this is about. This isn't just about getting to the goal. It's about becoming the person who goes the distance. I'm Melissa Marchand, helping accomplished professionals build consulting businesses they love. If you know someone ready to make this transition, please share the episode with them.